demo, I'm going to show the color lighting effect again, only we're going to be adding 3 lights instead of 2, just so you can see how that works, and duplicating them to create some different blending modes for other more subtle lighting effects. So for this one, I'm just starting with this really wonderful image that already has some neat light kind of reflecting down at the bottom. And I'm going to adjust the levels overall. So for that, I'll create a new adjustment layer, which is at the bottom of our layers panel. I'll choose adjustment layer, levels. I could also go up to image, adjustment, levels, and it would apply those changes onto the layer that I have selected. When I choose that, it might give you the properties right there in your panel. Mine kind of pops up over here. And I'm simply going to adjust the left and right sliders to add, to just pump up the contrast. So the darks become darker, the lights become lighter. Not too far, but just to enhance the contrast a little bit before we add some colored light. And now I'm going to deselect, so I'm going to just select off of anything, so no layer is selected. And I'm going to add a new adjustment layer, solid color. So I'm making a new color fill. And for this one, I think I'm going to work with like the trifecta, the primaries and digital color space, CMYK. So I'm going to select just visually, so it's not like technically the full number color, but I'm going to get to my magenta on one color. And then again, we want to use a blending mode so we can see our image from below. And I'm going to scroll down to the color blending mode, and ooh, it is bright, right? Now that's a nice effect overall, but I'm wanting to apply several lights. And so again, I'm going to select my layer mask thumbnail that's on that pink layer, that magenta layer, and use my gradient mask set at a linear gradient. I could work with the radial gradients too and see what kinds of effects those make. But I'm going to work with the linear gradient and just pull my gradient across. And I actually meant for it to come onto the ground, so I'm going to flip that around so that the black is at the top, blacking out, masking out where I want this color to affect. I'm just going to have it kind of coming out of the corner here on this side. Okay, cool. I'm going to add another. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to duplicate. So I'm going to select that layer and, that's off the screen for you, but I'm choosing duplicate layer in my little sandwich menu. And this one, I'm going to apply a different blending mode. The way that this one operates is that it's applying the color onto the value structure that it sees, and it sort of erases the hues that exist where it's applying. I am going to try a different color mode to add some additional magenta on top of some of the image. So we'll see what that looks like. Maybe soft light, screen, lighten. I think I'll do soft light there. And so this is subtle, but you can see the interaction just bathes a little more light onto the surface. And I might play with the opacity of those a little bit if they're too much. Just want to get an overall color lighting effect. Okay, now I'm going to add 2 more colors quickly using the same method. So adjustment layer, solid color. I'm going to get a cyan or close to a cyan. Select the mask, use my gradient. This time I'm going to pull from the left down because I want to mask out the top and sort of create this cyan on the right side mostly. I'm also going to add the color mode, or change the color mode to color. And I could see now where it's sort of blending with my magenta and becoming a purple on the left side, so I might adjust my mask a little bit. to be more on the side, as I still want to see that magenta come through. So I'm just playing with my mask a tiny bit there. Maybe it doesn't go as far across. All right, and I'm going to add one more. That's on the top of my image, solid color. That is my yellow. I'll again apply the color blending mode. Ooh, that's really bright. And then I'm going to mask out the sort of the center of my image up so that the black is kind of filling here, and then the yellow is coming up from the sky, which is doing some things. Like I noticed that it's creating some green on the top right of my image, and I don't know if it's making any orange over here, but it potentially could. I like the green. And then I might play again with like duplicating. So for example, I'd kind of like the blue to bathe over the figure on the right. So I'm going to duplicate that. Sorry, right click and choose duplicate layer, or control click if you're on a PC, or use the little sandwich in the layers panel there. So I'm going to just duplicate that and then play with a different blending mode. Let's try soft light, screen, lighten, overlay. Yeah, I like the soft light. And again, I might play with the opacity a little bit. You can see it's subtle interaction, but it just brings some more of that blue cast coloring over the image. And for my yellow, I'll do the same. I'll duplicate that layer. And this is just like to really play with, ooh, and maybe I like lighten or screen here because it's sort of bathing the figure in that yellow. And there we go. A colorful take on this image.